Hey guys, this video is dedicated to Luminescent Souls TCG. Be sure to go and check out his channel, he's got some very interesting content. Head over to him and subscribe. Thanks very much. Hello guys, Chris here from Wrath of Codes, and today we've got another deck profile what you can create with the real life cards, and it can be created on Untap as well. And it's a very basic deck, it's just a mono white humans. Very easy to play. If you're starting out, then I would highly recommend this. It's actually quite an effective game, an effective deck to play. It primarily focuses on, as you could have hazarded a guess, one colour. Pretty much all the units in it are humans, and it's just about trying to overwhelm your opponent with as many humans as you possibly can. And there is a lot of like attack buffs and a small bit of removal and stuff like that. So it is a nice easy deck to play with. So the cool thing about this deck is the maximum number of elements or terrain cards you're going to need in play is literally 3. As long as you can generate your 4th white element with your core, you're going to be able to play pretty much every single card in this deck. It's so simple to play, it's fun to play with. If you're on top, just make sure you download a copy of this deck. Anyway, so we're going to be moving on with the deck list itself on screen. So the core we're going to be using is the core of Lost Time. This is a pretty cool one. It charges pretty quick. Every 5 turns you can use its ability, and that will basically slow your opponent down by putting a random card from their hand on the top of their deck. Again, it's simple but effective. Moving into the terrains, we're literally running 15 terrains, a little bit less than usual. We're running 11 meadows, pretty standard. 2 lonely crop fields, which say humans occupying this terrain gain 100 health and they cannot be targeted by enemy black or red action units. So, you know, this is a very efficient card, which, you know, there's a very good chance, I'd say a near 50-50 chance that your opponent's going to be playing black or red. So it's definitely worth putting these in, especially with the little health buff. And then 2 copies of No Man's Land. This land doesn't generate elements, but that's not the biggest concern of this deck because everything literally costs so very little to get into play. This card will allow you to basically, if you play Magic, scry 2. It's a kind of scry. You get to look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and then you put 1 into your hand, and then other at the bottom of your deck. Very nice to help you speed up your gameplay. Obviously, combining that with Core Lost Time, you will speed up your gameplay and slow your opponent down as well. So as you can tell, this game is based on speed. Moving on to the units, we've got 2 copies of Field Masonry. Nice, really nice, simple unit. It's a 1 cost, 2/2. Whenever it attacks, it gains 100 attack power. We're definitely a white deck. Would be stupid to not play 2 copies of Ella. She costs 1 element, a simple unit, 1/2. When she enters, you get to draw a card and recover 100 health. And then on a 5 or 6, she also lets you draw an extra card. Then we've got 2 copies of Sane. So this is one of the 3 sisters, as you probably already guessed. It's a 2/3 unit for 3 white elements, and then when she enters play, she deals 200 damage anywhere you want, to the core, to a unit. Heck, you can do 200 damage to your own unit if you wanted to. And then she's got an abundant number of abilities. Ideally you want to roll at least a 3 to utilise her more often than not. When we're running 2 copies of Noble Knights, now this is actually found in the Deck of Honour from GVE. It costs 4 white elements. Sorry, I do apologise. 4 white elements is the most expensive. Yeah, I did say 4 white elements, didn't I? Yeah. So this is one of the biggest cards you're going to be running in this deck. Big beast unit, 400, 500. Put this on a special terrain or a relic or something like that, and you've got quite a tank. 2 copies of Knight of the Keep, 3 cost, 3/3 unit, and then when he defends, he also gains a 100 HP boost. 2 copies of Arena Champion. This is you'll be paying 3 whites for this unit. It's a 3/3 unit, and then it's got 2 abilities, a 5 and a 6, which can give it an attack boost of either 100 or 200 attack power, so it can easily become 4/3, or if you're lucky, a 500, 300 unit. Then we're moving on to a defensive unit, which is Shield Guard. Again, this is from GVE. It only costs 1, it's a 2-3 unit, so already it's above average. And then if you roll a 6 and you're the defending player, all of your units each gain 100 HP for the rest of the turn. So that's a very useful unit, definitely worth putting in this deck. 2 copies of Competent Lancer, it's a free cost. It's 400 attack, 300 HP. And then if you roll a 6, gains 100 attack, potential 500. 2 copies of Agile Foot Soldier, another quick unit, 2-1, easy to play. 2 copies of White Mage, this will be one of your support cards. When she enters play, you recover 400 HP to your core. 2 cost, attack power 300, HP of 300. Very simple. Rolling 5, she also recovers an extra 200 HP to your core. And then rolling a 6, your unit's going to be targeted by enemy action, response or battle cards during this battle. So that puts a nice little umbrella over your units whenever you enter battle. 1 copy of Trebuchet. So we've got 2 special units now. These aren't exactly humans. Well, one of them is, but this is actually classed as a siege. Only 1 copy of this though. It costs 3 white elements. It's got 500 attack but only 200 health, and it's got the ranged ability. It does have the chance of it destroying itself. It could fall to pieces any time, but it's got the ranged ability, which means you know, if your opponent is not playing ranged, you can actually throw in an extra 500 damage, judging it hits, towards your enemy's attack or defense line, which is always more than welcome in Wrath of Course. And then you've got 1 copy of Border Defenders. It only costs 3 white elements. It's got 100 attack, not much, but it's got a nice tanky 500 health. Only downside is it cannot attack. Good thing about it is it cannot miss, so it's definitely worth having at least 1 of these in your deck. Moving on to removal and your action cards and stuff, you're running just 1 copy of Judgment. You want to keep this in your hand and save it for when your opponent plays a big beastie. 2 copies of Thunderbolt, which is deal 200 damage to the enemy core. That player then discards a card. If you can get this out early game on turn 2 or 3, the second you can meddle with your opponent's hand, by all means, that's the best thing you can do in this game. 1 copy of Twister is a free cost. Draw 2 cards and then your opponent discards 2 cards. 2 copies of Power Amplification, it's a battle card, so it can be played up until the point in your battle phase, up until the point where you're starting to distribute damage, so you can roll for your units, and if anything hits then you can play Power Amplification just to up their attack by 200. Sneak Attack is another very useful battle card. 2 units in play, each gain 200 attack power, and it only costs 2 white, so definitely worth sneaking these in. Just 1 copy of Mana Net. I suppose this could be traded out for a Judgment if needed. You get to remove an element of an enemy's terrain card, and then that terrain does not generate an element at the start of their next turn. So this is good. Again, you can play this early on. This will slow your enemy down by about 2 turns or something like that. Pretty useful, but again, if you're struggling with removal, you can switch this out for another Judgment or similar card. Moving on, we've got 2 more relics to play, and then that's the deck. We've got 2 copies of Castle Walls. It costs, for us, 3 white elements. The unit on the stack gains 200 health, and if you've got another relic next to it, directly next to it, which is also a copy of this card, Castle Walls, then the unit here gets 100 HP and they can freely move between the 2 stacks without the hindrance, which means normally if you move a unit to the stack adjacent to it, that unit cannot attack. It kind of like exhausts it in a way. But if you get 2 castle walls out next to each other, you can move it onto a different stack, gain the terrain buff, and then you can still attack with it on the same turn. And then finally, we've got 2 copies of Morale Flags, a relic. It gives basically 3 units in a row 100 attack boost. Obviously, if you can position this 1 copy of Morale Flags carefully with another copy of Morale Flags, you can get the units on the end of the 2. So if you've got 2 of them next to each other, you can get 2 separate units plus 200 attack power each. So that's definitely worth putting in, because it's basically anything you can do to up the stats of any of these human units above, because they are, you know, they're cheap to play. They're pretty cheap in terms of attack and health, but you've got more than enough cards, relic cards and battle cards, to up the statistics of these cards if needed. So overall, I've pretty much explained everything now. It's very easy to play. You can find a copy, you can find a download in the description of this video. You can also visit the website where there's plenty of decks what you can download and stuff like that. I will be announcing a proper domain URL for that website at some point as well, but I'm not going to go into that in this video. Overall, this deck is a very fast, very easy to play, very friendly deck to play with. Friendly as in you, the end user friendly. If you're playing against somebody who's playing multiple colours, then they are going to have quite a hard time with this deck, judging that you can continuously keep pumping those units out into play. So that is this deck list. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you've got anything, if you know of any cards what could make this deck any better, leave a comment in the description. Sorry, leave a comment below. And we can see about altering one or two of the cards in the deck. Obviously, if you want to keep it to yourself, you can download it, and you can just switch out a couple of cards here and there, and you can customize the deck on Untap to however you like. But yeah, that's it, guys. Like I said, it's a fast deck. It's easy to play. It's very easy to learn the game with this deck. By all means, download it and give it a shot. Thanks a lot, guys, and see you in my next video.